Hello everybody, my name is Kevin Smith and I have a few things to share with you today. A lot of people, when they hear of the references we are speaking of, and by we I am referring to wonderful worldwide educators, they often may inquire how we come by the information that we do, and if it is in fact verifiable. Can people determine for themselves the authenticity of this information? Well, indeed you can. All this information and anything else you might want to know, regardless of the nature of the information, can be ascertained on what we call the real side. Before going to bed, sing the New You song for 15 minutes or so prior to sleep. And it is also good to sing it 15 or so minutes on waking, or whenever you feel you want to do it. There is no set way to sing the New You song. You can sing it any way you choose, and you don't even have to sing it out loud. You can sing it in your head if you are feeling perhaps a little self-conscious. And many people ask exactly what position they need to be sitting in when they sing the New You. Is it advisable to sit in a lotus position? Does meditation need to be incorporated into it? Do the chakras need to be activated? These are all personal considerations. The chakras are of the personal vehicle. The physical vehicles that are in the psych realms of the creational matrix. The New You song connects an individual to the real universes beyond the psych realms and the simulated matrix where all the 5 body vehicles reside. And so anything that is to do with the physical vehicle, the chakras, the health of the body, the diet, exercise, or anything else of this nature will evidently have nothing to do with your real awareness, because the real you in the real universes is beyond creation, and so anything afflicting the vehicle that is in creation and all of the 5 vehicles throughout the creational matrix will have no bearing on the real you, which is beyond these vehicles and the creation in which any affliction can assail us. And so anything to do with the body, anything to do with the chakras or meditation or anything else of this nature will not affect the New You song in any way. It will not have any bearing on its effectiveness. It will not enhance it or take anything away from it. It is the real connection, and was chosen as the sound by the All is. And so, yes, if you so wish, you can sit cross-legged, you can stand on your head, or dangle from the ceiling if you so desire. The New You song will work irrespective of any ideas you place upon it. The only problem if too many ideas are attached to the New You song, if too many considerations are added to it, if it gets a little distorted and convoluted with ideas, then it's very conceivable the New You song can be dragged down into the physical and astral level. For this is where all these ideas and emotional attachments will be formulated and created from. This has happened periodically throughout the eons. The All-Is has presented and afforded its connection through various sounds, including the Amen, the Om, and many other sounds that escape my memory at this time. But, as always, anything that is created in creation, even if it represents and references the true light reality of the All-Is, if it is there for too long, it does become infected. It gets dragged down into the astral and physical level with all the ideas, considerations, and distorted emotional attachments that plague it. The reptilians who rule this planet are renowned for this activity. They will try and take over and lay claim to a reference that references the true light reality, and will attempt to drag it into the physical and astral level. So we can see that not only the sound that is the connection to the true light reality has had to be changed and updated as time or moments have gone by, but the other references that Dwayne uses to present the All-Is. For example, when he was first referencing the All-Is, he referred to it with less L's and less S's. In fact, he called it the Is, and unfortunately the world controllers got a hold of this word and formulated and presented us with the terrorist organisation of ISIS. This was a play on the word that was referencing the All-Is, and so by associating it with this creation that is very much of the physical and astral life levels, it was effectively dragged into and infected by it, and thus Dwayne added 3 L's and 3 S's to the All-Is, in order to keep the references pure and untainted and beyond the reptilian infecting hands. A number of things and references have had to be changed in this manner. For example, the spelling of Rebazar. Initially, the spelling was Rebazar with an A-Z-A-R at the end, but then it had to be updated again to, in fact, be spelt as E-B-I-S-A-R, because the Ekankar Corporation, which at one point was backed by the All-Is and referenced the true reality of the real universes of the All-Is and was backed by the real universal guides, became taken over and infected by reptilians, and so it no longer had the backing of the All-Is and the real universal guides, and effectively it became just a reference for creation, and now incorporates all sorts of ideas, things along the lines of worship and prayer and ritualism, which are very much of creation and religion, and all religion and things of this nature stem from the reptilians. so are a very effective means by which you can be tap-lined, if you pursue such. And all ritualism stems from sacrifice, in fact, more ideas in creation, and if agreed to, we can become tap-lined by, and the cause and effect principle rears its reincarnational inducing head, and unconscious lifetimes are sure to follow. And therefore, as I was saying, Rebazar, the real universal guide, did back the Ekankar Corporation and Paul Twitchell, but when Paul Twitchell departed and transitioned to his next position, and he is now a universal guide, it became taken over by reptilian Joni, and she seduced and took control of Harold Klemp, who masquerades as a spiritual guru and leader, but he is nothing of the kind. He is but a puppet to Joni, and works on behalf of the reptilians, ensuring that everybody who is affiliated with the Ekankar Corporation is restricted, tap-lined, and destined to remain in creation, regardless of the marketing front of that which it promotes. And so, when this occurred, Rebazar did not back the Ekankar Corporation any longer. He and the other universal guides and the All-Ears now backed the new man, Dwayne the Great Writer, as he had the awareness and the willingness, as he volunteered to present this to the world, and the stage was then set for him to have his presentation and provide the references to allow everybody the opportunity, if they so decide, to become more aware, recognize this true reality, and supersede the limitation of the control matrix that we all are currently in. And so, when Rebazar moved from the Ekankar Corporation, no longer recognizing or backing its now distorted distortion, he also made an alteration to his name, because the Ekankar Corporation still insists that they are indeed affiliated with and are in contact with the guides, but this is not so, and so Rebazar's name was kept by the Ekankar Corporation, and so it was necessary for him to change his name and alter it slightly so it would not be representing or mean in any way that he was affiliated with Ekankar. Anyway, so the New You song is the current sound that is the connection to the true light reality. But like all these other references, as I was saying, as time goes by, they become dragged into the physical astral level. So it's conceivable that not only will Dwayne Hepner continue to update the references to keep ahead of the reference grasping reptilians, but it's very possible the sound may change somewhere down the line. The references are just that, and are not the sole property of anybody. Anybody can make use of them. The only difference is, when the references are used, the intent of the individual must be examined. Anybody can use the references, but if their intent is not for the purposes of providing a real benefit and an opportunity for people to become more aware, if they are not sincere in this regard, and are not therefore backed by the All-Ears and the real guides, then whatever references they use, even if they do reference the real universes, will not be effective. Because for this very reason, references are just that. They reference something. They are not the reality. What brings the reality in and makes the references alive is the purity and the intent of the individual who is making use of them and presenting them. And so we can see that only the individual with the pure intent and the sincerity, and backed with the guides and the all is, will have the references, and these will be of a pure quality, and therefore with no agendas. There will be no taplining and skullduggery. But anyway, so in order to determine these references and all the things spoken of in this video and all the other Skypes and other things that the wonderful worldwide educators present, it's very easy to determine the authenticity for yourself. As I said, simply sing the New You song before bed and ask a question. Anything can be asked, and any answer will be given. If you are pure in your intention and sincerity to know the answer, you will be shown in the weeks and days to come. The answer may well come during your physical day activities. You may stumble across the answer in the form of a coincidence. Perhaps you overhear a conversation, or a book happens to open at a certain page, giving you your answer. Regardless of the source by which you receive the answer, it pays to be vigilant when you have set a question, sung the New You song, and are eagerly awaiting the answer. It's a good practice to have anyway, to constantly be in a state of awareness, to objectively view all our experiences, and not to colour them with ideas or add emotion to them, as these act as filters and obscure the information that is provided to us from life and the real universal guides via the experiences that we have on our physical life level waking reality. In fact, this is indeed the passing dream, and although it may seem very real, its reality is simply due to the density of it. Whereas on the other life levels beyond the physical level, everything moves by thought and imagination. There is less restriction, except that which we decide for ourselves. For when we go on to the astral level in our dreams, or on the real side if we have the recognition, and when we pass over from the physical life level and transition to our next position and find ourselves on the astral, we may consider that we are as limited there as we are here, and therefore it will be so. And you can rest assured, the Callum God, who resides on the fourth level of the mental plane, and the other overseers who are also of a reptilian and controlling nature, whose function or self-decided task is to prevent an individual from becoming more aware, recognizing the true reality, and superseding the creational life levels that they control, you can be sure they will not tell an individual that they have far more liberation on these life levels than they do on the physical level. But of course we do. and we can find that we can fly, we can move through seemingly solid objects, move objects with our minds, turn into any form that we want. In fact, as they say, the only limitation is our imagination. So it's not just on the physical life level that we can expect to receive the answers to the questions we pose. We can receive them on the real side, the very night that we sing the New You song prior to going to sleep before. On the real side then, we will be afforded demonstrations. The real universal guides will step in and set up our dream arena to give us the answers we seek. They may take us directly to that which we want to know. We may encounter, for example, the individuals that we wish to determine the authenticity or sincerity of. For the real side reveals all. People on the physical life level can put up quite a front. They can have a very effective superficial layer. Psychopaths, for example, spring to mind, like Hannibal Lecter out of Silence of the Lambs. A well-polite and mannered gentleman on the outside, but of course we know of what he was actually doing, that his superficial layer obscured from people's awareness of. But it seems that the unaware individuals can only maintain a facade on the physical life level. It's conceivable that the reason for this is that they are not only not aware of the other vehicles on the other levels of creation, but due to them being oblivious of them, they will also not have the awareness to be able to get them under any sort of control, to regulate their behaviour and get them in alignment with the facade they are trying to promote and that they are trying to promote to the world. And so, on the real side, we can see an individual for who they actually are. All obscuring layers and deception is removed. The only individuals that could, in theory, deceive anybody and hide who they actually are on the other life levels beyond the physical would be those who are more aware. But these individuals are very unlikely to do this, as the more aware an individual becomes, the more they are recognizing their real awareness, connecting to the true light reality, and the more therefore they will be incorporating the qualities of their real self. So yes, they would have the ability to obscure and hide who they really were theoretically on the real side, but they would have no inclination or need to do this due to the more pure nature of their character, as they lean more into and are connected to their real self, and the personal self, with all its created consciousness, quirks and strange mannerisms, is left behind, and not embraced so readily. But, as I was saying, only the deceivers, the deceptors, those who are trying to trick us, would endeavour to also do this on the other life levels, but lack the awareness to be able to not only recognise their other life levels, but be able to get them under control in this regard. and so we can determine anyone's authenticity as an example. We can also ask any question we like. So anything you want to know, for example, do the reptilians really exist? And if you sing the New You song, you will be shown. The chances are you may come face to face with a reptilian, or be taken to a place where they reside. Either way you will receive your answers. If you want to know about these self-proclaimed gods who exist on all the life levels of the psych realms, you can have audiences with them. The real guides will show you these gods. If your motivations are for your real awareness and you have no funny agendas. I have had a number of dreams where I have encountered reptilians for myself, again on the real side. Generally, I was never seeking to find and come across these reptilians, as I always knew that they existed, and all the other alien species that we have become aware of. Because naturally we all have a real self, we have our intuition, and those who are more of an intuitive nature, those who are always seeking and looking to move beyond just their personal self, they tend to have a better gauge of what is real and what is not. But on many occasions, as I said, I have encountered the reptilians on the real side. And when you sing the New You and are going all over creation, all through various dimensions, life levels, in fact anywhere on any time stream that the guides will see fit to take you, then you will encounter these reptilians everywhere, and all sorts of alien species besides. I once went on a spying mission with a group of people, as we were endeavouring to sneak into a reptilian lair. A lot of our experiences will be along these lines. The guides certainly put us through our trials and tests, which allow us to become more aware if we recognise that which the dreams and experiences and adventures contain, that allow us better recognition of the true reality through the objective viewing and viewpoints that they provide. The trick is to not get too embroiled in the experience, to see it objectively, to view it from a position of real awareness, and then the best information will be gleaned for our awareness. And on this occasion, as we were sneaking into a reptilian lair, we were discovered by one of the reptilians, and we were taken to another area, a sort of recreational area, full of further reptilians, and a bit of a brawl ensued. But as you can see from this experience, that the reptilians are very real, and we will have encounters with them. Some of them can be a little abrasive, and on occasions we even have experiences where we have the opportunity to actually assume the form of a reptilian, simply for the purpose of affording us another viewpoint. For the more viewpoints that we have from the various experiences and life positions and vehicles that are available throughout creation, the more we can draw comparisons. We can see creation from every conceivable angle, from every possible vehicle and alien's eyes, and then we can slowly realise that everything that the all is everything that creation is not, and that includes all the alien species, their created individual consciousness, the collective consciousness of the species, and their personality, and their life, and everything that incorporates their personal self. There have been other reptilian encounters also. There was one situation where I was in between sleep and wakefulness, a state of being that is very conducive for astral projection, in fact, or lucid dreaming, also a good state to maintain for the practice of being aware, for we should take the time to practice and recognize this true reality. And in this state of simply being and seeing and keeping the mental and emotional vehicle at bay, much phenomena can be experienced. We shouldn't really chase the phenomena, we should simply be and observe it objectively. But all manner of things can manifest on the physical level. Naturally, these things we wouldn't be able to perceive with our physical, literal senses. But in this in-between state, we are bridging the physical life level with the real side. And so we will see phenomena floating in from the astral and the life levels beyond. The reptilians definitely reside on the astral level predominantly, and they lurk in the lower areas of the astral. For yes, there are very nice parts of the astral level which could be considered almost heavenly, but these are designated heavens, and we go there only temporarily, then are regurgitated back into creation for more unconscious lifetimes, if we haven't recognized any position beyond them. There are also the lower astral areas, which would look very much like hell. I've also had experiences in these. These are very dark and gloomy places. A foul stench pervades the air, a very much biomechanical theme, and all sorts of astral entities, demonic type creatures, thought forms, and generally entities and individuals of a less than savoury nature dwell here, including reptilians. And so, on this occasion, in my in-betweeny state, suddenly my wardrobe to the left of me burst open, and a reptilian hand emerged from it. It was purple and scaled, and had clawed fingers. The fingers were bejeweled. Many times when we are on our process of becoming more aware, the dark forces will seek to intimidate us, and will do so in all manner of ways. Many times they will get their stooges and reptilian minions to intimidate us, and this was an example of it. But we simply recognise this as what it is, a very poor effort to put us off. But if we stay connected to our real self and our real awareness, we are effectively in little danger, as the real self always knows what to do in any situation. It is only the personal self, if allowed to interject itself, that will put us in a state where we are bewildered as to what to do next and how to deal with situations and abrasive individuals. On this occasion, then, I simply regarded the hand and watched it as it withdrew. On another occasion, I popped on to the astral level, and there was another attempted intimidation tactic again. A loud booming voice filled the air, and demanded that I cease in my journey towards the ears. I'm uncertain as to the exact source of this voice, or where it stemmed from, but it's very conceivable it was the Callum god, or another of his minions, again attempting to put me off. It, however, simply bolstered my resolve, and I would continue with my process of becoming more aware. Many times we will have experiences with alien species because we have had lifetimes as every species imaginable. We are not simply humans. We will have experiences all over the creational cosmos, all over the creational Psych Realm simulator, in order that we have as many experiences as possible, for as many viewpoints imaginable, that we can become more aware from, by comparison, and therefore the recognition of the all is. And so, yes, we will have had life experiences and life vehicles as reptilians and every other alien you can possibly imagine or that lurks out there. And it's very likely that some of these individuals will still have emotional attachments to us, even after millennia. So often in our dreams or on the real side, some of these aliens will come to us because they recognize us from previous lifetimes, even if we don't recognize them. And I have had several reptilians in communication with me, speaking with me, and other aliens also. But of course these old lifetimes are all very interesting, but everything is new now, and so these lifetimes simply can serve only as old references, and may be of use and interest, but have nothing to do with our real awareness, as our real awareness and recognizing the all is and standing real with the true light reality will supersede all of creation, all of the ideas that incorporate it, and is beyond all of the lifetimes we have ever lived and the vehicles we have ever assumed ownership of. So all of that becomes irrelevant in the face of standing in the true reality of the all is. And so, as I was saying, if you want to meet reptilians or any other aliens, if you want verification that these beings do exist, if any of the references that are mentioned here or anywhere else, you wish to determine if they are indeed real, then sing the New You song before bed, and you will be shown. And then, once you get a taste of what is real, beyond the passing dream that is this simulator, you will undoubtedly want to see more. The more you see, the more you want to be, the more you want to see even more. There are endless positions that can't even be imagined beyond that which we all currently are standing in. Positions that go endlessly into the all is, for the all is endless, and we can never recognize its entirety, just parts of it, but we can move forever into it, and our experiences will expand with our endless expansion into the all is. It is an incredible journey, a breathtaking undertaking. It isn't for everybody, however. The prospect of moving beyond the comfort lives and the certainty of their self-convinced personal self and constructed lifetimes that they have held dear to is very hard to let go of, and therefore very few will go beyond that which they have ever known, which is rather a shame, because the lifetimes in creation, yes, can be very varied, and we can be with all manner of species and in all manner of civilizations throughout the creational physical life levels and the life levels in the creational matrix beyond, the other 4 life levels, if we recognize enough of them to be able to be there also. But however, they are very limited, and they are under control by the reptilians which rule creation, under the dominion of the Callum god, so we can never have the freedom that we can have if we have a real position in the real universes, what we call universal positioning. And so, if this sounds like something you would like to experience for yourself, if you would like to become more aware, if you would like to see and experience more than you ever had before, if you want to embark on the adventure of a lifetime, then it starts in this very moment. You simply decide that you wish to. You sing the New You song. Your process will begin. The real universal guides will enter into your life and assist you in becoming more aware, helping to remove all the agreements to all the ideas and the emotional attachments that keep you restricted to only creation. And so you will move beyond creation, be able to recognize the other life levels rather than just the physical and the astral level, which are the only levels that most individuals have ever known, into these far more expansive positions that become more and more liberating, until finally the unfolding of the awareness is such that the recognition of the true reality can be gained, and a real position in the real universes of real freedom, and in the real universes of the true reality you can be and have whatever you want without any restriction whatsoever. And surely this must be something that at least tickles your curiosity. So I will end with this. I will sing the New You song, and as I said, you can sing it any way you like. And it goes like this. New You, you. And I'll see you on the real side.